can you tell us what a cocoa goat looks like, where to find it, and where it came from?
Where to find it? Don't know. Where it came from? Also don't know.
Hi, Christy. Thanks for joining me here today.
Hi, thanks for having me. How is it in Australia right now?
Oh,
Is it
it's great.
wonderful?
I got my tea. It's because it's 11 o'clock, but that's wake up
Perfect.
time for me.
Yeah, I always drink tea. I don't drink coffee, and that's actually something they recommend for voice acting is not having coffee because it can dry out your voice and give you like these mouth clicks. Versus tea is supposed to just kind of like warm up your throat a little bit. So I too have a cup, but it's just water. So
Yeah, well, hey, that's an interesting little tidbit already. Didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I just drink tea
Oh,
because I
thank
think
you.
it tastes better than coffee.
Also that too. I am not really a coffee connoisseur. I'm already very energetic in real life. So adding caffeine to the equation, I don't think is the right choice for me. So it's like decaf tea for me.
Oh, for someone who's energetic in real life, it must have been tricky to jump into the role of Qiqi then.
It's funny. I always feel like people have multifaceted personalities. You know what I mean? Like whenever you meet somebody, you have like maybe their persona that like when they're meeting somebody, it's like, oh, wow, that's them. Versus I know for me, I do relate to Qiqi a lot when I'm just by myself and I'm just kind of chilling. I'm just kind of almost apathetic at times where I'm just like, like, all right, same old, same old. So, but as far as like the most like the character in the game, definitely Jen Losey, who voices Ganyu in the English version. I love her. She literally has been tabulating all of her polls for what she gets on the banners and is trying to figure out her pity ratio for getting like 5 stars and 4 stars and if she's lucky or not lucky. So she literally is the real life secretary of the UI Pavilion.
That's amazing. Okay, so we've got some questions here for you today. Just we'll jump straight in, I guess. So you're probably most known for voicing Qiqi in Genshin Impact, but you also voice another character in Genshin Impact. Is that right?
There is an unknown god in the opening cutscene. Yes, I do also voice the unknown god. And as of right now, she basically separates the twins. So, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess this currently unknown character, this is going to be pushing my luck a little with the question, because you're probably not going to be able to answer, but can we assume that you'll be back in Genshin Impact at some point, voicing a character other than Qiqi?
I have no clue. Like,
no idea. Maybe
anything further
expansion.
pertaining to her would be under NDA, so...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anything, yeah, I guess we can assume at some point, maybe. Maybe in the 7th expansion.
Personally, I would love to see it, especially since she's kind of established as an antagonist in the beginning, but who knows? You know, she might have other things to do. She might need to just cube up the world a little bit somewhere else. I don't know.
Exactly. She could be busy. Alright, so how did you come to land the role of Qiqi in Genshin Impact? Did you audition for her specifically?
Yes, I remember I got 3 characters in my audition inbox. I know it was Qiqi. I also remember Mona, and I don't remember what the 3rd character was. Yeah, but I remember the audition for Qiqi was really interesting for me because they did a wonderful job describing the character. They were wonderful in providing artwork too, which is not always typical of auditions, especially with NDAs and wanting to keep things private. I love getting artwork because it really helps me see kind of what the character may be. And so with Qiqi, it seemed pretty evident to me that she was just monotone, pretty much, you know, very like dead inside because she's a zombie. But I did give them 2 takes. I gave them the first take, which is what Qiqi is, and then I also gave them a second take where I remember the last line of the audition was something like, I will remember you, or something like that, right? Because it's like she has difficulty with her memories. And so I made that way more animated than Qiqi has ever been in game at all, just to show them, hey, I can act. Like, here's me doing like the funny dead, the deadbeat, dead tone type thing. And then here's me just kind of being more like empathetic, human, if you're looking for that. And I'm really happy they went with the direction that they did with just kind of the funny, comical, like, nah, don't care kind of personality. And Chris, the director of the game, I had met him just prior to auditioning for this game, and we clicked right away. I read stuff from something completely different, and it was great being able to audition for this. And he was the director for the game. He plays actually the game on Twitch. We joke that he's not a whale, he's a leviathan, because any character that's on the banner is C6'd. Yeah, his Twitch is twitch.com or twitch.tv/Mr_BRGL, Mr. Burgle. I asked him what that means, and he doesn't know either. He just likes it.
Fits in well with all of the random naming in Genshin Impact, I guess.
I think that's just him on his own. Like he was saying, if he had a band or something, he would have named that. I think. Sorry, he's gonna watch this back maybe and be like, "That's not what I said." But I have a terrible memory, so that's where I am like Qiqi. To be honest, I forget things a lot, and it's not great. But
perfect. So that might have come into how you landed the role, I guess.
Maybe.
So, I mean, that was sort of interesting. So you said they gave you artwork and stuff for Qiqi. How did they... I assume like they gave you sort of little blurb about her. So how did they explain the character?
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Basically, they just described who she is as the character. I don't remember the full paragraph, to be honest. And if I did, it would probably be under NDA. Still, even though the character is made and all that. But I know that they were very good with giving descriptions of their characters in the game, because that's the funny thing with the audition process. Sometimes you get literally a script with 5 lines, absolutely 0 description. You don't, maybe like the age of the character, and then you're like, okay, let's try something. Other times they give you like 5, like I just had an audition the other day that had like 3 pages of character description, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot of information. And do I need all of that? Maybe, I don't know. And then other times, it's kind of a mixture of the two, and that's definitely what this audition was, which was appreciated. So
yeah. I thought it was, I really thought that Qiqi, your performance as Qiqi was one of the standouts of Genshin Impact, just because
thank you.
You sort of think, like she's based on the Chinese zombie myth, Jianxi. So
yes.
I sort of think of like a zombie's defining trait is that they're sort of like mindless and have no personality, but you sort of had to play a zombie with a personality. So
yeah.
You did say that you tried 2 different takes. So did you have a voice in the back pocket for a zombie with a personality, or did you just sort of read it and do some trial and error and come up with some stuff?
Ooh, it was a while ago. I'd say it was a very similar voice print of just like a young, half-dead sort of thing, just a little bit more excited. Like,
I thought it was just great. All the funniest lines, I think, all come from Qiqi in the game, just because of that perfect like deadpan delivery. And yeah, the fact that she's still lovable.
I do give huge kudos to the director, Chris, for that, just because I remember when I came into that session, there was a comment saying, oh, this character doesn't get super loud, they're really deadpan, this will be an easy job. And the director, Chris, was like, no, those are actually some of the hardest characters to nail, because you have to keep them interesting without getting too crazy. And so Chris was really great at finding the perfect mix between the two, and I just loved working with him. He's great.
So do you have any favorite Qiqi lines, Qiqi lines or moments, like anything that stands out to you as particularly memorable?
fun fact, I also thought it was Qiqi when I went into the job, and I'm like, how do I say, oh, Qiqi, okay. And I was like, I Googled it, does it mean 7 and 7? And like, I was like, okay, cool. Like,
I should know because it's like QI is Qi in Chinese, so I should know. But
it's all good. There's an actress in K-pop, or not actress, a singer in K-pop in this group called G-Idol, and her name is Yuchi. But before I knew it was Yuchi, I thought it was Yuki. So I still to this day sometimes want to be like, oh yeah, Yuki is so cute. No, it's Yuchi.
Yeah.
It's Yuchi. Totally forgivable. Favorite lines, honestly, my favorite line is just like when you're done with like the main quest and you go back to her behind the desk and she just goes, go, go find it. Because there's such a little miniature passive aggression within that line where it's like, what are you doing here? I already told you, go find the Coco Go. Exactly. But it's still so adorable and lovable too.
Well, exactly, and the fact that I mean, again, I don't want to heap praise onto you, although maybe I should, but it like that comes through, like that sort of passive aggression, even though the delivery is almost indistinguishable from anything else she says. It was a really amazing job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Before we jump into just a few more questions, I thought it'd be good just to cut in with a bit of a pop quiz.
Ooh, so, I love quizzes. You don't even know.
Well, I like to do a little game because, I don't know, it's just fun. So I've got 3 Qiqi related questions, or questions that Qiqi should know the answer to. If you get 2 out of the 3 right, then you get to decide how you'd like to be described in the video description. So that could be like, if you want to be described as astounding, incredible, enigmatic, breathtaking voice actress extraordinaire Christie Cate, that's totally on the cards. So, are you ready?
Sure, yeah, let's do this.
Okay, question number 1. What is the name of the pharmacy that Qiqi works at?
Boo Boo Pharmacy!
Well, that's one right.
Which is cute because it's like boo-boos, but it's not.
Okay, so usually a Jiangshi zombie will follow orders given by the person who awakens them, but Qiqi awoke on her own, so she gives herself orders. The question is there a foolproof way to get Qiqi to cancel her orders, and if so, what is that method?
Qiqi remembers by writing things down in her notebook. So if she continually writes something in her notebook, that is how she'll remember what she's supposed to do. So my assumption is if you want her to forget something, you have to keep writing in the notebook the opposite of what she's doing. So she'll start doing that.
Wow, that's better than the
correct answer?
Yeah, that's so much better than the one they come up with. Maybe you should have been writing the lore for Qiqi as well.
Hey, I gotta hand it to the director again for giving me all the backstory in the session. That doesn't always happen.
Yeah, well, so this one, I mean, I kind of wanted you to not get the second one right, so we could go to attention third round. So
I
this
want
one
the third
was
question though. I love questions. I want another one.
Exactly. So there's a third one's coming, but the second question, that was hidden away in something that you never would have read. So something that you wouldn't have ever done a voice line for. But the way that you get her to cancel her orders is apparently hugging her from behind and telling her very sincerely that you love and care for her.
Oh my god, that is like the cutest.
So if she gives herself an order to like go to the cliffs of Leeway and collect herbs, she might get stuck because she'll get to the bottom of the cliffs and she can't scale it, but she'll stand there forever trying to scale the cliffs. So you have to have a way to cancel her orders in that way.
See, I feel like this part of the canon is incorrect to the game, though, because Qiqi can climb cliffs. What's going on?
Exactly. That was, yeah, exactly. I think that your way was way better. But we'll go on to the third question.
Okay.
In Qiqi's words, can you tell us what a Coco Goat looks like where to find it, and where it came from.
Okay. Where to find it? Don't know. Where it came from? Also don't know. Something else? Don't know either. If you have the exact line written down, I will do it. My memory is actually pretty terrible. I just know it's don't know either, and also don't know. Like, are the responses.
Exactly. Well, all I was looking for was don't know, so that was way better than I imagined. That's perfect. That's 2 out of 3 correct, so you win the pop quiz.
Oh, thank you. It's funny, a lot of people are like, hey, can you do this Qiqi line? And I'm like, if you can hand me the line, I will absolutely do it. If you're trying to get me to go from memory...
Oh, exactly. I mean, it gotta be, that's gotta be too tricky
There's a few, but it's like, faster? Okay, faster. You know, where it's like, it's so ingrained that it's like, oh, okay, like, sacred name, fortune preserver. You know, or it's like, okay, I hear those a lot from people playing. Even though I don't have Qiqi in game.
Oh.
My friends have her, so.
That's sad. Should email the developers and say, look, I'm the voice.
You know, I gotta hand it to the voice of Paimon, Christie Becker. They set up a full fund that was like Qiqi pulls for Qiqi. So one evening, just a bunch of people just donated, and I'm like, you guys. So I rolled, and I'm so grateful because up till like adventure rank 47, I was free to play, and then all of a sudden I rolled all these amazing things. So of course I have no level up books or anything, but I got my D-Luke, who was my first free-to-play pull. I got him the Wolf's Gravestone from this. I got Ganyu with the Amos bow. I did not get Qiqi. I got a C1 Mona and a Kuching instead, but hey, I appreciate it, and I was just so grateful for the kindness of strangers, and it's really sweet. And I joked with Karina, I was like, you know what's going to happen is I'm going to have your Mona problem, because they were playing the game constantly and they could not roll Mona, and they finally got Mona, and I'm like, that will be me with Qiqi. It'll be like, hey, I have every other character with Qiqi, right? Knowing my luck. I'm just kidding, but hopefully not. Yeah. But yeah.
I think the problem I had was like pulling a character that I wanted, but then realizing they didn't fit into like the team I had built. So I'm like, oh, now I can't even use them.
There's another
in my
person,
regular team, right at the front.
There's another person that joins our streaming stuff on Twitch named Corey Yee. He voices Draft in the game, and he's very much into theory crafting. I was not really a huge RPG gamer. I was more of a platform adventurer kind of person prior, and so he really understands, I call it the math of the game, and I'm like, I don't understand like what artifacts are good. And he's like, that artifact is poop. I'm like, oh, okay. But the point of all this is he kept telling me to play with Xingqiu, and I was like, I don't know, I don't want Xingqiu on my team. Like, I don't know, I just kept like, and then I added Xingqiu, and I was like, oh, that was a dumb choice. I've been playing all this time without Xingqiu with my Diluc. Yeah. Oh my god, always listen to them.
Yeah, I don't know how I would get by if I didn't have Diluc in the team, because if I'm ever having trouble, it's like, oh, I'll just switch to Diluc and just kill everything really easily.
Unless it's like a fire creature, you good, you know?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I really did want Diluc and Qiqi as my two team members. I was like, if I could wish for anybody on my team, it would be Diluc and Qiqi. Even though when I play with Diluc, his idle lines annoy me. I'm like, I'm working. I just have to pause for a minute. Like, no, don't you dare go back to the Knights of Favonius. Like, we're gonna get over here and murder this cryo Registine. Like, stop telling me, like, oh, okay, you're being lazy, you know?
Yeah, the one I have Venti in my team all the time, and Venti, his like running line annoys the hell out of me.
Wouldn't gliding be faster?
Like, have you seen yourself glide? It's really slow. Like, no, it wouldn't.
I love Venti, and I love Erica Harlicker. I don't have Venti in game, but it was a fun addition having a bard that's kind of a drunkard in the game.
Yeah, a drunkard that's also like That's shockingly young by the looks of it.
Yeah.
But I love all those
This is why this game isn't for children.
Yeah. Alright, so moving on from Genshin Impact, well, kinda, but you have appeared in quite a few roles for Square Enix. So you did a few characters in Trials of Mana, Brave Exvius as well, but I guess probably the biggest role was Irma in Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon. Were you always looking to do voice work in video games, or was that something that came along?
It's fun. I've always wanted to do voice work in video games, and there's often like these casting workshops that are specifying in a certain sort of genre, whether it's like commercial or video games or interactive or animation. And oftentimes it was kind of funny. You'd go into these interactive workshops and you'd assume that the majority of the class would be a bunch of males, but no, it was actually pretty typically like more female heavy and stuff. But through going to those workshops, I was able to kind of hone in the craft more, learn more about the delivery style specifically for video games, and I believe that's kind of what allowed me to start booking some of these characters. So
yeah, I thought I didn't know that you voiced Irma until a few weeks ago when I was looking it up, but that was a great performance as well, and your range is quite impressive, I have to say, because I would not know that you voiced those two characters, and likewise with Qiqi and the Unknown God at the same time.
Fun fact, so with the Irma audition, they did ask you to voice both Irma and Amori, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, well, how similar do they want them to sound or not? And so I was like, well, I guess I'll just do what ended up being in the game, and that was the right choice. And I'm forever grateful for that. And I also loved Irma as a character because she's just kind of like an anti-hero, and I've always gravitated towards that kind of a personality in a game. Or like, for example, Magneto from the Marvel universe is my favorite Marvel character because is he doing wrong? You know, it's kind of like there's a lot of like ethical questions relating to like what he's doing, and yeah, he is wrong, but at the same time, like, I love that he has a meaning for why it's wrong. It's like a very Shakespearean sort of experience, and that's kind of like, you know, Irma in the sense where, you know, she's just looking for treasure, having fun, and then it's like she loses her memory, and then she's not a bad guy anymore, and she's like, I love Chocobo. So it makes you question the whole time, where is Irma really hating all these people, or is she just really greedy? You know,
Yeah.
Like I think it's the latter of the two, but that's just a personal opinion.
Yeah, she's a little sassy and honestly the anti-hero thing, and even the Magneto thing. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but just up there, the picture in the back is the bottom one. It's too dark, but the bottom one is Ian McKellen, and the other one is oh god, what's his name? The younger one that plays.
Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender. So I have two them, and they're both signed because I also love Magneto.
Oh wow! See, this is why we're friends.
Yeah.
Because you have good taste in character.
I am the anti-hero is like my favorite trope. So I have like Vegeta from Dragon Ball Z tattooed on my arm.
Nice.
And like I have plans for like a Seto Kaiba from Yu-Gi-Oh! Don't know if you've seen that, but
do you like Shadow the Hedgehog?
Yeah, of course. He's the best
That's
hedgehog.
a controversial opinion with people because they ruined him with his game. But like in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, I was all about Shadow. I was like,
exactly.
Yeah, you tell Sonic how it is.
Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is probably like the only like Sonic game I even like. But Shadow the Hedgehog, like, he's just the best hedgehog.
I will still play that. Yeah, no, it's a great game.
Yeah, I think because they brought it to like PS3 or PS4, I think, like digitally, and I bought it there as well, and I think I have it on PC now. I just got it everywhere. GameCube.
That must be nice because then it's not super crunchily pixelated on your TV. Like, I kept an old TV for the longest time because when you play like those N64 GameCube type games, it definitely reads better on like those tube TVs. But yeah, eventually I was like, okay, I gotta just get a nice TV here.
Yeah, exactly. Can't stick with that old CRT forever.
Yeah.
So, was there much difference working on Genshin Impact than there was compared to other roles?
For me, it was my first playable character, so I was so excited to be able to go in and actually have a character that I could play, even though I haven't rolled Qiqi, and, you know, get to do like the efforts. That was also kind of a funny moment for all of us in the session because we did get to listen to what the efforts were for Qiqi that were done prior in Chinese, and they're like, okay, well, how you know, how battle-y is this? And it's like, you know, like it's so like, okay, we good, you know, like it's not like kind of stuff. Like,
yeah,
your voice. Chris is a great director because he basically has you read a line twice, and then he'll usually just pick one of those two, and then if he's not getting what he wants, he'll kind of direct further. The nice thing too is he gives you all the backstory prior to the line, so like you understand in your head what's going on in the scene, and you're not just like, why am I asking for a cocoa goat? You know, like they kind of tell you like, okay, hey, so you're at a pharmacy, you know, you're talking to these people, and it's like, oh, okay, thank you. Like versus sometimes it's like, here's your line, and I don't know. The wonderful voice actor Greg Chun actually directed Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon, and I had a lot of fun doing that. I was so nervous going in there, even though I'd met Greg before, he was my friend. But it was super exciting being able to especially record that cutscene in the beginning, because the animation was gorgeous with the gems, and yeah.
Well, long time no see, my fellow courageous treasure hunters. Well, I'd say you were a tad too late.
What does the future look like for you? Will we be blessed with your voice in more games in the future? I imagine so, since you always wanted to do it.
I imagine so as well. If that is the case, they are under NDA. That being said, I did announce yesterday that I'm in an anime called D4DJ, and I'm the voice of Kyoko. So that's exciting. And thankfully, the one thing I do, I am grateful for is people that appreciate the dub actors. Like, I don't care if you watch your shows with subs or you play your games with subs or you play in a different language. Like, hey, languages are beautiful. Like, I love traveling the world and trying to learn what other people are saying in other languages. But it's always nice when people start leaving you nice comments on, you know, regarding your work, especially when it is such a heated topic, if you will, among the community. So thankfully, people have been very receptive to the little bit that my character's been in the show thus far, so I appreciate that. And
oh yeah, that's why I love doing these talks, these interviews, because yeah, quite often I think all of you are just not given enough credit, because you really do bring life to the characters. I watch some things with subs and some things with dubs, but generally I find that if you want to have the same experience as, say, like a Japanese person watching a Japanese anime, you have to watch it in your native language, because a Japanese person is not taking their eyes off the screen to read subtitles, you know? So I think you'll do generally just amazing work, and yeah, you don't get enough credit for it.
Oh, thank you. And I think to your point too, like, it also depends on the speed of the show and the tone of what you're watching. Like I loved watching Parasite with subtitles, right? Because it was kind of evenly paced. But if you're watching something that's still going like this, you know, and it's like, hey, what's going on? You know, it's like trying to read like a subtitle of that is, I'm like, I can't even see what's on the screen. I'm just reading,
yeah, while
you
there's
know?
a fight going on and they're like all kinds of crazy animation going on. Like you're missing some of the best parts. Are you looking for more anime work as well as video game stuff?
I'm always looking for something fun. So as long as I get to work with great people, that's what I'd love to be a part of.
Yeah. So I have seen that you hosted a podcast, obviously before COVID, I imagine, called
Yes.
Inside the Voice Actors Booth.
Yes.
Is there anything else like that in the works for the future, maybe?
Right now I've just been focusing on these little goofy TikTok videos, to be honest. Just because it's meeting up with people during COVID is challenging. In that studio I was able to get through my agency, so that was a wonderful bonus. I contemplated doing Zoom interviews and stuff, but I know a lot of people that I know are already doing stuff like that all the time. So for me, I'm like, I don't necessarily want to phone a friend in for a Zoom interview at the moment. So I was like, I'll just wait until we can see people again in person, and I'm sure they'll be ecstatic to come and meet me in the studio to be like, oh my God, humans! So...
Yeah, so you mentioned TikTok. So before we sign off, where can everyone find you on social media?
Yes, I am on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. All three handles are just at Christie Cate VO.
So that's easy.
And then also Inside the Voice Actors Booth, as you mentioned, that is just Inside the Voice Actors Booth at YouTube.
Yeah, cool. I'll put all that up on screen and in descriptions and everything so people can go there, but that's very easy. You're lucky because I could not get JRPG in a lot of places, so I've got a jumble.
It's okay. I could have had just my name years ago when I signed up for some of these accounts, and I just didn't want to, and then I couldn't get them, so then it was like, well, we're tacking on the VO at the end. It's all good.
Easy done. Okay, so I mean that's all the questions I had. You passed with flying colors on the pop quiz, even with my little cheat middle question. So you can let me know how you would like to be introduced in the video description afterwards.
I forgot one last link. Right now we are offering prints on streamily.com /Genshin Impact or /Christie Cate. So if you wanted like a beautiful Qiqi made by Celestial Fang, or a beautiful Unknown God made by Alina AL, or there's another one by Aq. I think that's how they say their name. It's Ganyu and Qiqi and Coco Goats. Go check it out.
Love it. Yeah, the prints are amazing. I did see the both the Twitter posts when you popped them up for the commissions, and they look wonderful. Especially the Qiqi one. So I'll pop those links up as well, and people should go and buy those because they look good on the wall, as we can see.
It supports artists too. Like I was like, oh man, I don't know. People are gonna want my autograph, and they're like, but you get to support artists, and so for me personally, I convinced myself to do it because I wanted to support artists, but also I'm trying to start a website called worldstoryteller.org, and it's basically like people that are wanting to get into the voiceover community have the opportunity to audition for a charity that's not like a huge well-known company or like a small like nonprofit or upstart, get to do a voiceover for them, and if the charity or nonprofit selects them, then they win a prize or something. So basically right now, any profits I receive for these prints, I want to put back to the community in a sense, and be able to kind of get that going. And so for the description, I wanted to say, who is Christie Cate? Don't know. Is she a voice actress? Don't know either. And then something else that ends that don't know joke. Like
I'll workshop something as I'm editing the video together. I'm sure we can get there, but that's perfect.
Is she the coolest?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. So thank you so much for joining me, and thanks everyone for watching, and I'll see you all soon.
And you know what it has to end with? Outlanders, your journey ends here.
Amazing.
Thanks for the liking, subscribing, and the sharing.